The Leapmotor C10 has underperformed in Australia, overshadowed by a wave of more compelling Chinese rivals. But this is not the same as the EV. This one is a plug-in hybrid, and it could just be a Hail Mary for the brand. This new plug-in hybrid SUV delivers almost 1,000 kilometres of range and is priced at just under $46,000 drive away, which kind of relegates its EV sibling to a has-been overnight. We've snagged an early drive of the new C10 plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, and this is not a full review per se, but it's going to give us a very good idea of where this stands in the pecking order and if it matches up to vehicles like the BYD Sealion 6. Let's do it. So there are two models coming to Australia. The entry-level model starts at $45,990 drive away, and you'll pay a little bit more for this up-spec model. But I gotta say, first impressions are pretty nice. I like what I'm seeing here. There's plenty of room. The quality of the leather is, the synthetic leather I should say, is super soft. It's actually really lovely. It makes a good first impression. Look, the materials in general are quite impressive. There's soft touch pretty much everywhere you look. Weirdly though, the card, which is basically the key to use the vehicle, has to go here. And then if you want to charge your phone, that goes on top. A little bit interesting, a little bit different. It feels like some of the elements of this vehicle haven't been thought through. There are three ways to charge this battery. You can use a 6.6 kilowatt wall box. You can use a 65 kilowatt DC fast charger, the sort you might find at a public charger, whether it's EV or ChargeFox. And using one of these chargers at that speed, at that bandwidth, you're going to charge this from 30 to 80% in a claimed 18 minutes. That's not too shabby. And using just that battery, you're going to get about 145 kilometers according to Leapmotor. So if true, that's pretty impressive. And then the third way to charge is with the petrol motor. It's got a 50 kilowatt inverter, so when the petrol motor's humming along at around 2000 RPM, it's just charging it as it goes. Back seat's pretty good. I've got lots of room back here, nice flat floor, little bit of a lounge room feel, that's nice. I've got USB-A and USB-C, seat back pockets, amenities pretty good. Little bit of razzle dazzle there from the silver speakers. Obviously the huge glass roof, got to have that in your EV. Push button lights, and the seats do sort of recline a little bit. They go, I think there's two stages, not too bad. There's no cup holder here though that I could find, but at least you are quite comfy. And like the front seat, the synthetic leather is absolutely lovely. This is premium, soft stuff. I do like it. Okay, so the new C10 EV has a frunk in the front now, but this one does not. It has a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, and it's not particularly powerful, but it's like the Nissan e-Power Qashqai and X-Trail. It acts as a generator only, so no connection to the wheels. This is basically powering the almost 30 kilowatt hour battery pack, which then drives the wheels through one e-motor, and that's putting out about 160 kilowatts. So the idea here is that 50 litre fuel tank that powers this motor, plus a full charge of electricity through the battery, will give you almost 1,000 kilometres, which is more than double what you get in the EV. And this vehicle is cheaper than the EV in Australia, which is, it's going to be interesting. I think Aussies are going to warm to this a lot more. We've seen the Sealion 6 be very popular. This one could be too, so let's take it for a drive. Oops, wrong side. It doesn't matter. Another little quirk is the key to get in. You have to tap it on the driver's side. The driver's side mirror, there we go. So you can't do it on the passenger side. So that is an interesting idea. Okay, so there are 4 modes available in this car, and at the moment I am in, let's check, I'm in EV Plus. So this is the most, and that beeping is really annoying. That's the speed limit. Although I'm doing 18 kilometers in a 40 zone and it's beeping at me. Anyway, we'll get to the ADAS systems later. So I'm in EV Plus mode. Now that mode allows the car to use as much battery as it possibly can. It's only going to start using the engine to recharge the battery when it gets to 9% state of charge. So that's pretty low. From memory, I think the lowest you can go in some of the BYD Sealion 6, for instance, is 25% state of charge. So this could be a very, very efficient mode. It's designed for distance. It's designed for endurance rather than outright pace. And you know what though? I think, that's not a bad thing. I think there's a lot of customers, a lot of buyers out there that are actually going to appreciate that. It doesn't need to be super powerful if you're just running to the shops or dropping the kids off at school, that sort of thing. So in terms of fuel consumption, this thing is trucking along quite nicely. I've got 723 kilometers left from the petrol tank and another 50 kilometers of battery, so another 773, and I've already done 100 kilometers. So that could be around 870-ish kilometers. I've been giving it a little bit on some of these freeways, so I think it might live up to its claim. 1,000 kilometers, maybe, depends how you drive it. But at the moment, this is using an average of apparently 6.8 litres per 100 kilometers. But what I'm going to do is stick it into EV Plus, use up my 50 kilometers, and hopefully bring down that fuel consumption number a little bit. Another thing I've noticed in this vehicle is how quiet it is. Even at about 125 kilometers an hour, there's a little bit of wind noise around the mirrors and a little bit of tyre noise, but overall rather quiet, and especially the petrol engine. It's you can hear it when you give it a bit of shtick in Power Plus mode, but it's impressively subtle. I'd almost argue it's probably a little bit quieter than the Sealion 6. We'd have to test them back to back to be sure, but it's immeasurably quieter than the Nissan e-Power. Another thing I like about this car is the ride comfort. It's very compliant. Even over speed bumps, you can't like fly through them at 60 kilometers an hour, but it really does absorb the bumps quite well. I really like what they've done with that suspension tune. In terms of handling dynamics, it's not too bad either. There's a little bit of body roll when you push it, but I don't think many drivers are going to be treating this vehicle like a sports car, and overall very predictable. Probably the only thing I'd have a whinge about is the steering. It kind of feels like, I don't know, sloppy custard or something. But again, it's got a reasonable turning circle. It's quite light for most urban duties and highway cruising. It's fine. One thing I'm not so keen on are the ADAS features. Yes, they have made some shortcuts here, so you can scroll down once. There we go. And you've got quick access to a bunch of the features, so you can turn off lane keep and the driver attention system, which were incessant in the original EV. But no matter which model you buy now, they've all been updated via over-the-air updates. And they've said there'll be roughly one update every quarter, which is almost a capitulation. Like we haven't done perhaps as well as we should have, and we know there's issues. We've read the feedback from customers, from journalists. So, first impressions, it is an improvement on the C10 EV. They've tweaked a few of the systems, some of the ADAS systems as well, and that makes it a little less annoying to drive. The powertrain is, I think, going to appeal to many, many more buyers than the EV. You know, with a real world range of over 800 kilometers, this will definitely find favor with Aussie buyers. The question is, do you take a punt with a brand new brand like this? This is the same issue that all the new Chinese challenger brands are dealing with. But we will have a full review of this vehicle for you very soon, so stay tuned for that. And let me know what you think of the video.